Hare Krishna. So thank you everyone. So it's been a wonderful journey with all of you. We almost covered the whole Bhagwad Gita and all of your enthusiasm. Now today we are discussing the second last chapter of the Bhagwad Gita, 17th chapter. I shared, I think, the wrong this one. Yeah. The divisions of faith. So we'll be reading from the commentary by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So the chapter is another yet very important. Every chapter is important in Bhagavad Gita and brings the new dimension every chapter brings. So we saw that in the 16th chapter, the divine and the demonic qualities, and Krishna ended the chapter by explaining that one should follow the scriptures and one who does not follow the scriptures, ya shastra vidamustrajya vartate kamakaradaha na siddhim na vapnoti na paramna sukham gati. One who does not follow the Vedic injunction, the shastra, the instruction from the scripture, then that person cannot be happy in this world, na param gati, and he cannot attain the right destination. Right? Tasmat shastram pramanam te karya vyavastito. Therefore, what should be done, karya, duties, and akarya, what should not be done, you should take the guidance from the scriptures. That was the conclusion of the 16th chapter. Okay. So we discussed. So the essence of the 16th chapter is one who follows the scriptures is a divine personality, and one who does not follow the scriptures falls in the category of demonic personality. Right. Okay. Now, Arjuna is bringing another third new dimension. Look, somebody follows the scriptures, somebody does not follow the scriptures. But there's another category, they worship the God, but they don't worship the God as per the scriptures. They're not the demon, they're not like they're denying the God, but they're not following the scriptures also. They have some faith. So what do you call their faith? They have some faith, but that faith does not tally with the scriptures. So where does they fall? They're divine or they're demonic? That is a question. So let us see here that Arjuna starts this question in the chapter, the divisions of faith. Okay, before that, the whole chapter can be explained by this acronym as phase. So F is the 1 to 7 that we talk about that phase. And then, sorry, it is not phase, basically it is faith. It is by mistake. So what kind of faith it is, and then austerities. The different kind of austerity that Krishna explains, and then charity he explains, and then enjoyer of everything. So this is how the whole chapter we'll discuss now. Okay. So as I explained already, the connection is Arjuna is asking that where does this category of people, they fall in the picture. Okay. So let us understand the first section. The modes determine one's faith and one's worship. We'll see about that. But the first question is this. Arjuna Vacha, Yash Shastra Vidamusrajya Yante Sradhayan Vitaha Taisham Nistha Tuka Krishna Sattvam Aho Rajastamaha. Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of the scriptures, but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? What is their situation? They don't follow the scriptures, but they still worship. Right? So this chapter will clarify that those who do not have the faith, first of all, how to develop the faith. That also Krishna will explain. So this dilemma is resolved in this chapter. So some people, they worship. Some people don't worship as per the scriptures, and some people have their own philosophy. This is a very famous philosophy in the outside world. They call it yato mat tato pat. What is the meaning of this? Whatever you manufacture, the path, that path will ultimately lead you to the same destination. So you have to follow the scriptures. Yato mat means whatever is your opinion, tato pat, that becomes your path. So what is the need of following the scriptures and all of that? So this is this category. That whatever they think, okay, let us do this way, that way, something. And that is the path. Any path you take, and you will reach the destination. Let us see that what Krishna explains here. So that is the question. Okay. Sri Bhagavan Ovacha. Trivida bhavati shraddha dehinam sa swabhavaja. Satviki rajasi cheva tamasi cheti tamshano. The Supreme Personality of God had said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now, hear about this. So, what Krishna is saying, actually, there is a different kind of faith. Nobody in this world is faithless. People might say that I don't believe or I'm faithless, but actually, nobody is faithless. What Krishna is bringing the dimension is people are not faithless, but their faith vary based on their influence of the mode. So somebody's faith is influenced by the mode of goodness, somebody's faith is influenced by the mode of passion, and somebody is influenced by the mode of ignorance. And based on that mode, their faith is also different. For example, some people, their faith is, that we go worship in the temple, God will give us something, and like that. That is their faith. Now, another kind of category is the materialistic people. Their faith is there's no need to go to the temple. There's no need to do all this Bhagavad Gita, chanting, what it will bring. Rather, you utilize the time, work hard, use your intelligence, make something, and then make your life better. That is their faith. To enjoy, invent something to enjoy, different ways and means. That is their faith. So they are also faithful, but their faith is driven by or influenced by the mode of passion. Right? There is another person who is in ignorance. Like the example can be given of that of the rabbit. Sometimes, the rabbit closes the eyes when the tiger or some animal pounds on him. And his faith is, once you close the eye, you are safe. That is his faith. Close the eyes, no danger. But that is a very dangerous faith. That is called the faith in ignorance. The tiger is right there to pounce on you and to eat you up. And you close your eyes and say, okay, my faith is, I'm protected. So like that. So there are different examples are given in the scriptures of different faith. Like always we talk about this example of the moth, right? So the faith of a moth is, if I jump into the fire, it's very glittering, very attractive. And if I jump into the fire, I'll enjoy. That is the faith of the moth. But the result is, as soon as you jump into the fire, turn into the ashes. So this is called the faith in ignorance, which will ultimately burn you down. You will be finished. So what Krishna is saying, that yes, there are different kind of people, and they are the different kind of faith based on the different modes. So they worship based on the different modes. So let us talk about now this. Krishna explains 17.4. Okay, so now Krishna explains there are different kind of worship. So worship in goodness. Let us see this. What is this worship in goodness? Yajante satvika devan yaksha rakshamsi rajasa pretan bhutganam shanye yajante tamasa jana. Man in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. See, everybody is worshipping whom they are worshipping. So Krishna is explaining. These people, they worship the demigods. Especially Prabhupada writes here that Panchopasana, like the 5 demigods, principal demigods, which is Brahma, Shiva, Chandra, Indra, and Sun God. So in fact, there's another category that we have discussed in our previous discussions about this impersonalist. Right? So their idea of God is the God has no form. But in the beginning, you need some form to connect with the God. That is their idea. So they say that you can imagine or you can think or you can attach yourself to some form. So you need some form. So probably you can worship one of these demigods. So they worship the demigods, but their faith is that God ultimately doesn't have any form. This is a temporary means to connect or to advance in the spiritual path. Ultimately, the supreme reality, the absolute truth is impersonal. So they worship the demigods, but with that faith. So these are the people, these impersonalists, they are also in mode of goodness. They worship but their faith, their understanding is completely different. I think ultimately God doesn't have any form, but for now you worship. So these are all people in goodness. And some people, those who are like, they want something, artho artharthi, they go to God, God give me this, God give me that. They have the faith that God is powerful, God can give us, He can provide our necessities. So let us go and ask and do some puja and something like that. So there are people in little goodness. Okay. People in passion, they worship the demons. A man worshipping Hitler during Second World War. Prabhupada writes that. So if there is a person who was worshipping Hitler, why? Because of that Hitler, because that war happened. So he got a lot of business, some ammunitions and all of that. Says he is my real God. He made my life. So he started worshipping Hitler. So you see, the people in the passion, they create their own God. They worship someone, some celebrity, some politician, they'll put their picture. Every day they'll go and just put some garland and all of that happens. Right? So this is in the mode of passion. And then another category is this mode of ignorance. Let us see this. Yeah. So mode of worship in the mode of ignorance is they worship ghosts and spirits, worship dead spirits, ghost, and all of that. So we see that some people, these are all completely tamasic people. They go to the cremation ground and they do all kinds of this black magic and all of that. So they're also worshipping. But this kind of worship is said in the worship in the mode of ignorance. So Krishna is bringing this, that yes, everybody worship, but their worship also depends on the different.
बबलू, ये जो ढक्कन है ना, इसका मसाले के लिए निकाले, वो राइट ढक्कन नहीं है.
Hare Krishna devotees, please make sure that you are on mute. Okay. So in the next verse, Krishna explains, he defines the demon in 4 points. So he says, the demonic people, who are they do a lot of things, but what they do? First of all, they do the severe austerity and penances not recommended in the scriptures. Hiranyakashipu, he did a lot of tapasya. All right. But his tapasya was not as per the scriptures. So they looks like very austere people. Somebody says, oh wow, look at this person. He doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep, and he does a lot of fasting, he does a lot of this thing, that thing. And the point is, he may not necessarily be the right person. He may be the demon. So as we keep talking about, the demons are not about this external looking person. Demon is all about the characteristics. So this is one of the characteristics of the demon is they do a lot of austerity, but it is not recommended in the scriptures. And then why they do all of this is they perform them out of pride and egoism. That I want to become the greatest, all powerful. No Vishnu. Why people are worshipping Vishnu? Hiranyakashipu was saying to Prahlad, you should worship me. So much of ego. I am the greatest. Whole world is worshipping me. How you can worship Vishnu? Worship me. I'll kill your Vishnu. I'll go and do the tapasya, get power and kill your Vishnu. So like that. So their austerity, their worship is driven by pride and egoism and impelled by lust and attachment. And then foolish, and they torture the material elements. So that is how these people are demonic. So it might sound very harsh that how you can call some people very austere people. They do a lot of fasting, austerity and all of that. And you're calling them the demons. It is not we are calling them. Krishna is categorizing them as the demons. If they don't follow the scriptures and out of ego and false pride and impelled by lust and attachment. And I want to become the greatest. I want to be the king of the world. For that, I'll do whatever it needs to be done. So if their worship and their austerities are driven by all these kind of desires, then they're all actually demons. Right? Yeah. And then another thing is they torture. So they torture themselves. Actually speaking, we should understand one thing is when somebody which is not do the austerity which is not recommended in the scripture, and you do a lot of torture to yourself, Krishna is also pained by that, because we should understand fundamentally that we are all like the small child of the Lord. So the parents are never happy when they see the child is unnecessarily torturing himself out of ignorance. All right. So all these demons, they do a lot of torture to themselves, and through their austerity, they torture others also. So Krishna is not happy with that on those kind of situations. Parents cannot be happy. Yes, there is a scope for austerity, but it should not be whimsical. Like we do the austerity, like we fast on some certain days, like Janmashtami, some other festivals. So that is also austerity. There might be a little torture on that, So he says, no, you are saying Krishna is not happy. So this is another extreme. Some people, they argue, why you guys are torturing yourself? How God will be happy by torturing yourself? God wants everyone to be happy. So just be happy, enjoy God's birthday today, Janmashtami. Why you're torturing? Eat nicely, enjoy, celebrate, and all of that. But we should understand everything, the reference should be the scriptures. So it is nothing is absolute what we think. What scripture says is absolute. Whether we should do austerity or not, scriptures will guide us. If you do the austerity, what kind of austerity you should do? And if you don't do or you need not to do the austerity, then why you should not do? So everything is explained. So it is just like, the parents are not happy when the kids are torturing themselves, but sometimes the kids has to study well. So there is the pressure in that also. They have to sacrifice on their sleep or the food or something. They might be in stress. The child is in stress, tomorrow's exam. So this is also torture. But that kind of torture is allowed even by the parents. They say, oh, you should do this. So see, the parent will guide, the father will guide you, parents will guide you, what kind of austerity you should take. So Krishna says, okay, you should fast on Janmashtami, Ram Navami, on this festival days. That fasting, when the child is studying, taking austerity, that will bring the bright future for the child. So Krishna says, okay, do this, and your spiritual future will be bright. But just don't do the things whimsically, randomly like that. Otherwise, you'll fall in the category of a demon. So that makes the person demon, though he is very austere, doing a lot of tapasya and all of that. Okay. So one can make out the mode of faith by observing the activities of eating, sacrifice, austerity, and charity. Okay. So now Krishna is bringing another thing here that we can understand that the person is influenced by which mode? Goodness, passion, or ignorance. You can make out 4 items, is actually 3 items is telling in addition the 4th item. So it says yajna, dana, tapa. So what kind of yajna you do, sacrifice, what kind of tapasya you do, and what kind of charity you do, that will determine that you are in goodness or passion or ignorance. And in addition to that, your food habits will also determine that you are the person in goodness, passion, or ignorance. So what kind of food you eat, what kind of yajna you do, what kind of charity, yajna, dana, tapa, and ahar. So now Krishna will explain these 4 items starting from the 8th verse. First he talks about the ahar. Let us read that and some important point that we will understand from here. Okay. Let me see if we put the verse here. Yeah. So Krishna explains, Ayu Sattva Balarogya Sukha Priti Vivardhana Rashya Snigdhastara Hridya Ahara. So what is the Satvika Ahar? What it will bring? It will bring the Ayu. Right? And then Priti Vivardhana, it will bring the happiness, it will bring the good life. So the purpose of eating food is threefold. One thing is to increase the duration of life. We all understand if we don't eat, our life doesn't sustain. Right? Second is to develop, to bring the strength. And also, the third item, which is unknown to the people generally, that food actually directly impacts our consciousness. That is also another very, very important point. What kind of food you eat. So Krishna has given the information that what is the food in goodness. It is juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. Increase the duration of life and purify one's existence. Also gives strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. So that is the food in goodness. And then what is the food in ignorance? Katu amla lavnati ushna tikshna ruksha vidahinaha ahara rajasa sheshta dukha soka maya pradaha. Food in the mode of passion, too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning. So this is the food, you can understand. Right? Nowadays we see that when you go, people go out in restaurants and all that. So these are the kind of food that they are served. Too pungent, too spicy, and burning and all of that. It is, very pleasing to the tongue with adding all this masala and all of that spices. In taste, it is very good. But the result is this. What is the result? Distress refers to pain felt while eating such foods. You have sometimes burning senses, too much of a spice you are eating, right? Some acidity happens. And then misery, depression, one feels after such eating, and disease results yet to be felt. You will fall sick if you continue to eat this food. So this is the food in the passion. So this food actually plays a very, very significant role in our life. And that is why you see that Krishna is considering this such an important item to discuss amid of the battlefield. He's talking about what kind of food you should eat. That is not the time, right? But you understand that it is very important. What kind of food you eat, that will give you the right strength, the right consciousness. That is why in the Vedic times, whenever there is any mass gathering or some food is to be served by any worship or any performance of yajna, then they will call the Brahmanas. And they were called the Maharaj. Right? In North India, they're called the Maharaji. So they are the Brahmanas, their consciousness is very pure, very clear. They have the good practices, good habits. And these people will come. And why they're called the Maharaj? Maharaj means, Maharaj is referred to the king. King is like the Maharaj. So king is the one who controls everyone. So also the meaning of this Maharaj is basically the Brahmanas, they have the control over their own senses. That is why they're called the Maharaj. And these Brahmanas, they will come and they will cook. And with that consciousness, the food will be offered to the Lord and it will be served. So it is not just about, get together and eat whatever is available, some packaged food cooked by some person. You don't know what is the consciousness of the person. So people don't know that the person who is cooking the food, his consciousness is transferred in that food. These are all subtle signs. And that is how you see nowadays, people are in general, they have very base qualities like anger, lust, and all kind of, greed and all of that, because they don't know what they're eating. Who's the person who's cooking somewhere in the store and who's packing? That person might be a meat eater. He might be some, doing all kinds of illicit activities and doing some intoxication. And by cooking itself, in one hand, they do some BD cigarette, something like that, in one hand, they're cooking. This is the reality in all these shops and then restaurants. And that person with all the third class consciousness, he's cooking and is nicely packaged. You are completely ignorant, you are completely illusioned, and you think, oh, such a wonderful branded food. What is branded food? It's just you are made into food. That is the brand. You don't know that who cooked that food. And when you eat such food, you keep consuming that food naturally without any effort. Your consciousness, sneaks down to all those low-grade qualities. People are lusty, people are greedy, people are like short-tempered because they're eating this kind of foods. The consciousness is directly impacted by this kind of food. So that is why, first of all, we have to make sure that at least the food is sattvic food. And also, we are not interested, Bhagavad Gita is not, professing only eating sattvic food. Bhagavad Gita says there's something beyond the sattvic food. Minimum, it should be sattvic, and that food should be offered to Krishna, to the Lord. We already read in the third chapter, Yagna Sishta Janasanto, Muchante Zarukil Vishay, Bunjate te Agham Papam, Ye Pachanti Atmakaranat. Your food can be the cause of wiping out all your sinful reactions. Just by eating food, you're free from the reactions. You're free from the sinful activities, which we might have committed in the past. That is the potency that food is offered to Krishna. Right? So Krishna also explains here the food in ignorance. Yat yamam gatarasam puti paryusitam chayat uchistam apichamedyam bhojanam tamasa priyam. Tamasic bhojan. What is the tamasic bhojan? Prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten. Every day people are eating tamasic food only. There's no concept nowadays to cook the fresh food. They cook in the morning. If they're really conscious people, they cook in the morning and lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything. If they're too busy people, they cook in one morning in a week for 7 days. That is the unfortunate reality of this modern age. And they pack the food into the fridge, refrigerator, and every time they eat and then they heat it up and all of that. So they're eating tamasic food. This packaged food in the market with all this nice, fascinating covering and all that, brands, all tamasic food. So this is Yatayam Gatarasam Puti Paryusitam Chayat. It is tasteless, decomposed, and putrid. So that is why they had to add extra, some fragrance, some spices, extra spices, so that you won't realize that this is a third class food. Some foul smell comes if it is kept like that. But they'll put some preservatives, some extra spices, and you open it, oh wow, so nice. You're going to eat tamasic food. So that is how we are all being cheated. If you're not educated reading Bhagwad Gita, then we'll end up doing all of those things. And also, the tamasic food is also remnants and untouchable things. What is this untouchable things? So it is called amedya. So amedya is untouchable, means like all this meat, eggs, liquor, these are all considered as untouchable. Forget about eating. You are not supposed to even touch those kind of food stuff. That is not the food for the human consumption. People are eating day in, day out. That has become their staple food. Right? So that is why you see the people are becoming so tamasic. And then remnants. People are very fond of sharing same plate. So with the eating from the same plate, that love increases. Not love doesn't increase. Tamagun increases. They want no. It's not that love is increasing. Tamagun is increasing. Ignorant people. So the scriptures actually strictly warn that one should not eat the remnant of others. One should eat the remnant of only of the Lord, Supreme Lord, that is Prasadam, or the great devotees of the Lord, like the great Acharyas, Prabhupada, and the saintly people. So when we eat their remnants, because their consciousness will transfer in us. So that is how we become pure, by eating the remnants of the great saintly people. That is called the Prasadam. People are eating each other's remnant. So that one person is lusty, one person is greedy. So then they transfer their qualities, and they become, he is lusty and greedy, and he is also lusty and greedy. They're sharing. Right. Unfortunate situation in this modern age. So this food is a very, very important quality that people should know. And also, actually scriptures, they're so scientific. There is a whole the section in the scriptures which is called the Pak Shastra, which teaches you the science of cooking. There's a whole science. Nowadays, people are not trained even cooking. Something they have to cook, they don't know, so they put some onion, garlic, and some taste will come. The onion, garlic, they're like the gundas. They take over the whole food. You don't taste anything, you taste only onion, garlic. But there is a whole science of cooking. A lot of spices in the nature, the right spices, the right mix. And it's not only just give you the good taste, but it can give you the good health. So you see, in the earlier times, people will be healthy by eating the right food itself. They don't eat all pills, one before the food, one after the food. That is how they survive nowadays in the modern age. Because they're messed up with all these food habits itself. So, they say that the lot of herbs and spices you see, then everything is perfectly designed in the creation. What God has created. Everything has its own purpose. You need to understand the science. How to use them to best of it, impact. So nothing is vestigial in this, in the creation of the Lord. Sometimes these people say, oh no, certain things are useless. Earlier, the medical science was talking about that vestigial organ, the gland, they're saying it is useless. Now they realize, no, it is not useless, it is useful. So everything in the creation is very, very useful. So we need to understand the science. So similarly, there is a science of cooking the right food, and it will be delicious food. It will give you the strength. It will give you the good health. So Krishna is talking about all this food here. Okay. Yeah. Now, after the food, what Krishna talks in the next section is sacrifice. The different kind of yagyas people do. That also can be done in the 3 different modes. Let us see that. What is the sacrifice? The mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And just read the verse here. So, the sacrifice in the mode of goodness is afala kankshir yagno vidhi drashto ijyate yashtavyam evati manaha samadhaya sasatvika. Sacrifices, that sacrifice performed according to the duty and to scriptural rules and with no expectation of reward is of the nature of goodness. So when we do the sacrifice, how we should do? Afalakankshi. There's no akanksha for the phal. No desire for the food. Oh, I'm doing some sacrifice, I'm going to temple, I'm attending some puja. Like we do the sacrifice. What sacrifice we do in this modern age? Sankirtan Yajna. This is the recommended process in the Bhagwadam. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu professed it. Right? One should every day chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is Yajna. This is Sankirtan Yajna. And that is the topmost Yajna recommended for this modern age. But it should not be done with the desire to reward. Afalakamshi. Because I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna will give me this. Krishna will give me that also, then I can chant more. Krishna won't give, then what is the point of doing this? I'll go to somebody else. Some other, there 33 crore demigods can catch somebody else who can give me better. No, that is not the way. Sattvic means desire no reward and do as a matter of duty. And we understand our duty is as being the part and parcel of Krishna. We are duty bound to serve Krishna by following Krishna's instruction. Krishna's instruction is Satatam Kirtayantama, constantly keep chanting. So that is our duty, and that is according to the scriptures. Okay, so that is Sattvic. And then Rajasic, sacrifice in the mode of passion, done for some material benefit for the sake of pride. So there are people, sometimes, especially you will see these politicians, they'll conduct some ceremony, they'll, engage some priest, do this yajna and all of that. So because some elections are coming close or something like that, and there's a Panditji, give me some blessings. This time I should win the election. So done for some material benefit. And also, they want to pose themselves that I'm such a religious person. I'm the right candidate to be, elected. So please give me the vote. See, I'm such a religious man. I'm the right leader. For the sake of creating some reputation, false reputation. So this kind of sacrifices in the mode of passion, and then sacrifice in the mode of ignorance is without scriptural directions. So it says, Viddhi hinam asrastannam mantrahinam dakshinam shraddha virhitam yagyam tamasam parichakshate. So the yajna in the mode of ignorance, 4 items, says Viddhi hinam. No vidhi is followed. No scriptural reference. You create something, okay, we'll do this yajna, something like that. People does that. So without scriptural direction, and then there is a system that whenever there is any puja, any yajna, any sacrifice, then there has to be the distribution of prasadam. So it says, Viddhihinam asrasta annam. Anna should be distributed. Prasadam should be distributed. If the prasadam is not distributed, then that ceremony is not completed. That is how you see that how Prabhupada has set up the system. Anybody who comes to the temple, they must get the prasad. Some people come only for the prasad, no problem. But they should get the prasad. Either it is full meal or some little khichdi or little some prasadam. But prasadam should be there. Then when you come to the temple, you have darshan, you chant something, and then you get the prasadam, then that is complete. So that is how Prabhupada. So the acharyas, they know that how to follow the scriptures. So otherwise it will be in the mode of ignorance. And then without chanting of the Vedic hymn and remuneration to the priest. So one should chant the mantras in any kind of puja and sacrifice. And also they should do the dakshina. They should give the dakshina to the priest. So that is the system. So there's no mantra nowadays. People say, Panditji, do fast. Don't do too much of chanting and all that. Quickly finish. So that is then again it falls in the mode of ignorance. There is a proper way. Vedic hymns should be chanted to invoke the blessings of the Lord. And then there is no faith. For the sake of doing, they do. For the sake of some reputation, the false, show off. So that is all sacrifice in the mode of ignorance. And then Krishna talks about the austerity. So we are talking about the 3 items here in this chapter. Krishna is explaining yajna, tapa, and dan. So we saw the yajna in the mode of goodness without any desire for the results, mode of passion with some desire and for some false reputation, and ignorance is viddhi hinam asrastannam mantrahinam. No vidhi is followed, no prasadam is distributed, no mantras are chanting, no dakshina is also given sometime. So this is in ignorance. So we discussed about the yajna. Now Krishna is bringing about that austerity. The tapasya also can be done in the 3 modes. But before that, Krishna explains the 3 different kind of austerity. Austerity of body, austerity of words, and austerity of mind. Very important to understand that when you do the austerity, how and what consists as considered as the austerity. So Krishna says the austerity of body consists of this. Devadaja Guru Pragya Pujanam Sauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsacha Sharyam Tap Uchate. So this is what is considered the austerity. So we cannot whimsically create our own way of doing the austerity. That sometimes, you'll see that people, that Hatha Yoga people, sometimes they'll just put some fire and they'll go and sit in the middle of the fire. So that is all austerity in ignorance. So austerity should be, this is how it should be. So what is it? Deva Duja Guru Pragya. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Deva. Deva means the Supreme Lord. Duja. Duja means the Brahmanas, the Guru, the teacher, the spiritual master. Pragya. Pujanam Zocha Marjavam Brahmacharya Mahimsaja Shariram Tabuchade. And superiors like the father and mother. And it is cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. Brahmacharyam, ahimsa, and Saucham and Arjavam. All these should be followed in the austerity. Then it is the austerity of the body. So, to worship the Supreme Lord is considered as austerity of the body. What is the austerity in that? See, worshipping the Supreme Lord means you have to follow the scriptures. And following the scriptures, you need to take some austerity. Every day, chant Hare Krishna mantra. You might be a busy person, your mind may not support, you may not feel like chanting, but still you do that. Little austerity. Every day you sit at one place, 1 hour, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, and you keep looking at the watch when it will get over. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Going too slow. Initially it was fast, at the end it is being too slow. I have to do fast. Yes, it's austerity. All right. Worshipping, following the instruction of the Guru and the Brahmanas, austerity. You might have a different opinion, they will tell you something else to do. Follow their instructions. It's an austerity. That is the austerity of the body. Right? And following the instruction of the parents also. Here you say the superiors. But now, immediately as soon as the parent, they listen to this. They say, Bhagwad is also saying you should listen to us. The point is there is instruction for the parents also. That you should be the ideal parents first. To guide the kids on the right path. Especially the right path is to guide them in the spiritual path. And then the child should listen to the parents. So that is austerity. Child wants to play whole day, want to go out for the party with the friends. The parents is saying, okay, no study. Now go, okay, let us go to the temple. He said, why temple every evening? You want to go to play. So this is austerity. So like that, and then brahmacharya has to follow, and simplicity, cleanliness, and this is all tapasya for the body. Now, Krishna explains the austerity of the speech. Very important verse. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat swadhyaya visanam cheva vanmayam davachade. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. So this is also an austerity. What we talk. Nowadays people, they talk whatever comes to their mind, whatever comes to their tongue, without considering that what will be the consequences of the talk. Talking is not only just uttering the words, but nowadays there are different ways of talking. People write something, they tweet something, they just keep trolling the people around and all of that. So they don't know, they can't control. So this is the austerity that first of all, it should be anudvegakaram vakyam. Your vakyam, your speech should be anudvegakaram. It should not agitate others. It means you should speak in a very pleasing way. Don't agitate. And then also you should speak the truth. Satyam. So there might be satyam, but then instruction is satyam priya, satyam briyat, priyam briyat. You speak the truth, but the truth also should be priyam. You should not say that you foolish, you don't know this also. That might be satyam. Somebody might have done the mistake. But how to tell the truth is also, it should not be anudvegakaram. And the person get agitated by your satyam. So that is how. And then should be satyam, priyam. Priyam means pleasing. And also make sure that when you're talking, it is hitam. Does it benefit you and benefit the other person? Or simply, people keep talking whole day. Politics, Bollywood, Hollywood, neighborhood, and so many different things, right? Padose ghar mein kya chal raha hai? How does it benefit you? So your talk also should be beneficial. Ultimately, it should be spiritually beneficial. But at least if somebody is not on that level, then at least it should be materially beneficial. People keep finding fault, keep trolling others, keep pulling others' leg. How does it help you even materially also? So these are the instructions. And also it includes swadhyaya abhyasanam cheva. Regularly reciting the Vedic literature. That is also austerity of speech. So that is how you see in the Vedic times, people will recite Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Vishnu Shastranam, and different bhajans and all of that. So this is basically you purify your speech by reciting the words from the scriptures. So that is the austerity of speech. And then austerity of mind is mana prasada samyatvam manam atma vinigraha bhava samsudriti edat tapo manasam uchyate. Satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerity of the mind. So this is the austerity, that be satisfied with whatever you have. People are not satisfied nowadays. How much ever you have, they always keep complaining, keep asking more. So this is the austerity of mind. Just be happy, satisfied by Krishna's grace. Whatever comes, do your duties, and then be happy with whatever comes by its own accord. Just keep crying, keep complaining, keep, wandering here and then wasting time. How can I get more? You are not satisfied in the mind. So this is the austerity of the mind. And then simplicity, one should be very simple-hearted. Should not be duplicate-minded, that you're talking something externally, inside something else is going on. And then person should be grave also. What is this gravity? Artificially maintain some gravity, walk in some slow motion, show some serious face? Not necessarily. Gravity means you should be fixed in your purpose. That is grave. You know that what is the purpose of my life. I'm not just roaming around, wasting my time and watching something, doing something, because there's no control in the mind. There's no austerity of mind. Keep spending time, keep wasting time in all, watching TV, watching mobile, and I'm doing some user talks with the friends, chit chat and all of that. Be grave, be fixed in your purpose. Spend time. So bring your mind back onto that. So that is what is the austerity of the mind. Okay. And then Krishna says that austerity of goodness, passion, and ignorance is, the goodness is done with the transcendental faith. That, okay, if I chant every day, this is my austerity, and I have faith. Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja, Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. You surrender to me, you follow my instruction, I'll take care, everything. That is the faith. This is not the faith in goodness. This is called the transcendental faith. So one should develop that faith. And whatever Krishna says, if I follow, Krishna will take care of me. I have a strong conviction. No doubt. Things may not be manifesting. Oh, I'm chanting, I'm doing this puja, but nothing is coming up. Krishna says, I'll take care, he's not taking care. I only have to take care of everything. What is this? No. We should have the faith. You should not dictate that how Krishna will take care. He will take care in his own style. So have that faith. He will take care. And then, not expecting material benefits and only for the sake of the Supreme. Please the Supreme Lord. That is the austerity when you do. Then it is in goodness. Austerity in passion is out of pride. We already saw that. For the sake of respect, honor, and worship, like sometimes, people do fast. It can happen even in the devotee community if you're not careful. Please note. Prabhuji, I'm chanting 16 rounds, 20 years. Don't take me, something light like that. I'm very advanced, very senior devotee. 25 years I'm chanting. It's unnecessary, that ego, respect, that people should respect me. Oh, Prabhuji, you're 30 years, you're chanting 16 rounds. Not 16 rounds. On Ekadashis, I chant 32 rounds, 64 rounds. People say, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. You are so special. This is all passion. One should not fall in this. Prabhuji, Ekadashi, I do Nirjala. No water. Have you done Nirjala anytime? No, Prabhuji, we started doing this Ekadashi recently. You are doing Nirjala for so many years. You are fasting the body, feasting the ego. See how you can fall in this all traps? So one should be very, very careful. That austerity of passion for all the sake of honor, worship, respect. And then also another feature of this austerity in passion is neither stable nor permanent. And now the austerity of ignorance, out of foolishness, with self-torture. So we discussed about this Hiranyakashipu and all these people, and to destroy or injure others. So why he did the austerity? He'll get the power and then he will destroy. So as soon as he got the benediction, the Hiranyakashipu, he got the benediction from Brahmaji. What he did, the first thing, he started torturing all the Brahmanas. Okay, finish all these people, Brahmanas. Why they're doing all this yajna and all of that? Finish, kill them. So see, this is, they do the austerity, they try to get some power, and then they want to destroy the whole ecosystem. And this kind of Hiranyakashipu you will see in the modern age. It's not like Hiranyakashipu was long back. all. Now that time it was only just one. Now there's hundreds of Hiranyakashipus are roaming around. They do a lot of tapasya. Right? What tapasya they do? Scientific advancement. Create something more and more. You can become powerful. Social media. And then they want to control the whole world. They want to dictate the whole world that what the whole world should think. We are so controlled. Many times you don't know that how we are being controlled by some social media, some different platforms, some kind of narratives is being created, and you're getting influenced because they want to control and they want to, exploit the common mass. These are all demons. They're doing a lot of austerity. They don't sleep. They work like 20 hours. Scientific advancement. They'll create all of this. But what is the idea? So that we can exploit the whole world and we become the boss. So this is the austerity of ignorance. Okay. Now, Krishna also, so Yajna is discussed, Tapasya is discussed. Now Krishna is talking about charity, Dan. Now this Dan is also very, very important. Sometimes, people are naturally inclined towards helping others, do some charity now, but we should understand from Bhagwad Gita that how the charity should be done. So charity in goodness is Dattavyam iti yaddanam diyate anupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha tad danam satvikam smritam. So 3 items, desh, kal and patra. Dattavyam diyate anupakarine. Charity given out of duty, number 1, that we understand, we have been discussing this, that this is the duty of the householder, the grasthas, do the charity. So the last class also, I think in the previous session, we're discussing that the householders are the only one section of the society who makes money. The brahmachari doesn't earn, like they don't work. The sannyasi don't work, they don't make money. And the vanprasthas are already retired people. So this householders, that is their duty to take care of the brahmacharis, sannyasis, and also the retired people. So charity is needed. They have to develop that heart of giving. This is the duty. And then how to do that? Without expectation of return. No return, no expectation. And then 3 important items, Desh, Kal and Patra. Desh means the proper time and place, where you give the charity, whom you're giving, which place you're giving. Right? That is important. And then to a worthy person. People go and do the charity. A person who comes out from the bar, fully in drunken state, and one poor guy was sitting there. He said, Sethi, give me something. And he was holding one bottle in the hand, half already emptied. Said, take this bottle. But you will remember, charity is done. This kind of charity is in charity in ignorance. That is not the charity. Right person at the right place in the right consciousness without any expectation of the reason. That is the charity. Charity in passion, expectation of some return. That okay, we'll donate something in the temple. Proji, where you write our name, it should be in the top. It should be in a place where it is visible to everyone. I'm Dharmadhikari. I gave this my donation. This is passion. Right? People want all of this. Especially you see in India. Everywhere you can see that in different forms. But sometimes, people, they donate some fan. So they write the name on the fan blade. They'll be roaming around. Person. Right? They donate some desk or some chair. So the desk only donated by Unka Punya Smriti mein something. What is the need? Krishna knows. Right? Somebody's Punya Smriti and the people are going and sitting on that person's name only. Right? So this is passion. And then desires of fruitive results and in the grudging mood. Sometime, somebody comes to temple, some devotee will catch them. Hey, Janmashtami is coming, give some donation. Yeah, Broji will give. And then another time, then somebody will remind, hey, give some donation. And say, this Prabhuji is not leaving here. Too much, this is too much. Asking again and again, I have to give something, my God, it's too much. Grudging mood. Somebody is asking, I don't want to give. So it should not be in the grudging mood. It should be happily given out of duty. It is for your own benefit. If somebody is asking, he is not getting benefited. He is helping you to benefit yourself. So that is in the passion, and ignorance is at the impure place, in improper time to an unworthy person without proper attention and respect. So one should be very, very careful. Sometimes, people at that heart, okay, some beggar is sitting, give some money. Yes, you can have a good heart to give that money, but then you should follow the instruction from the scriptures. If you give to the wrong person, unworthy person, the person utilize that money of your charity to some kind of sinful activity. He go and drinks, he eat non-veg. You are unconsciously getting implicated into the sinful reactions. See how dangerous it is? So people think, oh no, I help the poor guy. No, help in the right way. Don't just be blind in helping others. Otherwise, you will need more help. All right, we'll get implicated into the cycle of all this complex situation. Okay, so Krishna talked about the ahar, yajna, dan, and tapa. So by seeing all this, we can understand that person's faith in either in goodness or passion and ignorance. So we're talking in this chapter about the person is influenced by the different modes, and based on that mode, his faith is. So you see that how that in different faith, these different things will manifest. Okay, and then in the last section, Krishna conclude this, and this section is Om Tat Sat. I'll just read one verse and then we'll conclude. So this is the 23rd verse here. What Krishna is saying says Om Tat Sat iti nirdesho. I think there is a verse here. Yeah. Om Tat Sat iti nirdesho brahmanas trividas smrataha brahmanas tena vedascha yagyascha vedagura. Om Tat Sat. Okay. From the beginning of creation, the three words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. So now very important point is coming. The conclusion of the chapter is, yes, you do charity, yajna, dana, kriya or food also, but it should not be only limited to doing in the goodness. So the system is this. All the Brahmanas, all since time immemorial, whenever they did any yajna, dana, tapa or any kriya, then they always chanted these mantras, Om Tat Sat. So basically, by chanting this mantra, it immediately, your whole kriya is channelized toward the Supreme Lord. So Om, what is this Om? So we already discussed that Om is the impersonal representation of the Supreme Lord. So ultimately, whatever you do, the yajna, dana or tapa should be ultimately please the Supreme Lord. That is the ultimate purpose of that. So that is how our scriptures, they have the system of chanting the Om for every, like we chant the Guru Pranam mantra also. Om Ajnana Timirandhash. So basically, every Vedic hymn chanted, it starts with Om. So it refers to the Supreme Lord. Immediately you're connected to the Supreme Lord. That is how all these things should be done. So Om Tat Sat, Prabhupada explains Om Tat Sat and Krishna consciousness. According to Bhagwad Gita, any work should be done for Om Tat Sat, for the Supreme Godhead, that is acting in Krishna consciousness. So how does it apply to us? Those are practitioners of Krishna consciousness. Shall we also chant this Om Tat Sat? And actually, Prabhupada, you can read those purports. Prabhupada explains from where this Om Tat Sat is coming. So he's explained also that Om is Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Jada Bhashyanti Suryaha. It is coming from the Vishnu Puran. And then Tat is also coming from that. So Om is the impersonal representation of the Supreme Lord. Tat means basically Tattvamasi. They say that. Tat means that. It refers to again the Supreme Lord. That absolute truth. And then Om Tat Sat. Sat means that whatever action you're doing, it is the absolute truth. Sat means Param Satya. So basically it refers to the Supreme Lord, and that is how whatever we do, yajna, dana, tapa, kriya, or the food offering should be done for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. That's the whole purpose. Okay, so that has been explained here. Let me just see. Okay, so yeah, therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performances of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with the scriptural regulations begin always with Om to attain the Supreme. Purposes helps one to remember the Lord. Om means Vishnu. As I said that, the impersonal representation of the Supreme Lord. Okay. And then Tat is described here. Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement. Tat describes detached work for the sake of liberation. That's the purpose. Why you're doing all this yajna, dana, tapa, kriya? Not for some material benefits or some fruitive results. You are doing for the liberation. For the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. When Lord is pleased, He can award you the liberation. So that is the Tat. The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice. It is indicated by the word Sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat. All works of sacrifice, charity, and penance performed to please the Lord are also called Sat, and they reveal the true spiritual nature. So this Om Tasat has been explained, and then Krishna concludes the chapter with the last verse here. He says, Ashradaya hutam dattam tapas taptam kritam chayat asat iti uchate partha nachatat pretya noya. Sacrifice, austerities, and charities performed without faith in the Supreme are non-permanent, osanapratha. Regardless of whatever rites are performed, they're called asat and are useless both in this life and the next. So the important is, we are talking here in this chapter is the divisions of faith. So ultimately, the three kinds of faith, but we should go even beyond those three faiths, and that is the transcendental faith, faith in Supreme Lord, pleasing the Supreme Lord. So whatever I'm doing, whatever activities, yajna, dana, tapa, and all of that, it should be for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, right? So what yajna we do in the modern age? We chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. And I am doing this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra because Krishna's name is very pleasing to Krishna. It is explained in the scriptures. Krishna is in love with his name. So we chant like somebody is in love with something, and you do that activity, that person will be very happy and pleased because he loves that. So Krishna loves his name, and when we chant Krishna's name, so Krishna is in love with his name, and when you are in love with Krishna's name, Krishna will be in love with you. That is the purpose. That is why we do all this yajna, Sankirtan yajna. So that should be the faith. No other purpose. And then tapasya, it is tapasya, consistently, nicely chanting, attentively hearing. So tapasya. You are chanting, one hand mobile comes, some pop-up. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Chanting is also done, some work is also done. This is austerity. This is tapasya. Be focused, be attentive. This is tapasya. Be consistent. So this is tapasya, yajna, and dan. Dan also we do for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So as it is explained that to the right person, to the worthy person, the right place, and for the right purpose. The right purpose is, the best purpose of charity is to spread the message of Krishna. That is the best charity. What you can do? You can give some food to some poor person. Tomorrow morning he'll be hungry again. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't help the poor people, but ultimate charity, ultimate help of that person is you give Krishna to that person. That will be the real help to that person, not just simple food. So Krishna, giving Krishna also can be done in different ways. How you give the Krishna depends on the person. Somebody is a hungry, poor beggar. How you give him Krishna? You go and say, read Bhagwad Gita. He said, get lost. I need food first. He's struggling. Give him some prasadam. So Krishna goes to a poor beggar in the form of prasadam. Somebody is all good, everything is good. He's eating 3 times, 5 times. To that person, you give Bhagwad Gita. Say your body is nourished. Your soul also, your intellect also should be nourished. So read Bhagwad Gita. Krishna goes in the form of Krishna's teachings, and then you give them the chanting of the holy name. That is their show. So that is how. So that is the best charity we should do. The right faith, the right understanding. Okay, so let me pause here and see if anybody has any quick question or any comment here. What we discussed so far. Yes.
So we started the chapter by saying that Arjuna had a question on people who don't follow the scriptures but are still doing the various activities. What are they categorized as? So I'm just trying to understand from that first question and all the explanation that you did. So if we do anything in the mode of passion or ignorance.
So we saw the symptoms of passion and ignorance. The scriptures are not followed. Out of pride they are doing. Out of some material desires they are doing. So they are not following the scriptures. Like that. So Krishna is saying, yes, some people, those who doesn't follow, they might fall in one of those categories. So if they doesn't follow the scriptures and all that, then they'll fall in the category of passion or ignorance, something like that. If they're following the scriptures, then they'll fall in the category of goodness. Like that. Clear? Okay, any other question?
I have a question.
Yes.
Similar to what Krishna himself says that, the three modes keep on changing. So how do you know to give a chance to whether you did it in a mode of goodness or passion or ego?
And that is why all these instructions are given, right? What is the goodness? Says first, do the charity out of duty, to the right place, to the right person, at the right time. So then you just make sure that you tally with this. I'm giving the right place to the right person, worthy person, for the right cause. Then it will fall in the category of goodness. And without afalakankshit, without any expectation of return, then okay, I'm doing right. I have to do my duty. I just did that and made sure that this is the right person here and they are using it for the right cause, and it's done. Be happy. So like that. So all guidance comes from the scriptures. We can understand. And also that Prabhupada writes in one of the purport that, the secret is we can evolve. Somebody is in ignorance, he can gradually evolve from ignorance to passion to the goodness to beyond goodness. This is called the Shuddha Sattva. How does that happen? Right? That happens if somebody takes the shelter of a bona fide guru. Then immediately he transcends all the influence of the moods. Because you start acting under the instruction of a guru, spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, and their instructions are transcendental, directly from the scriptures. So as soon as you surrender to them, start following, you're beyond the modes. You're not even in goodness now. You're beyond goodness, transcendental platform. So when we chant Hare Krishna mantra under the guidance of the Prabhupada, under his instructions, it's not the activity in goodness, definitely not in passion or ignorance. It's not in goodness also. It is a transcendental activity. So we may not know what is transcendental, and we might be influenced by so many different modes. But as soon as you follow the instruction, immediately you transcend the influence of the modes. So that is how it works. Okay. Okay, so let us chant now one round of Hare Krishna mantra together. Please join me in chanting, everyone. Those who are new here, for them, we'll be chanting on the mala. On the center beat, chant after me. First mantra, and then Hare Krishna mantra will be all chanting together. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Now we'll all chant together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare.